everybody. Welcome to another episode of You're Beautiful. I'm your host, Brian Trust. And oh my goodness, do I have so much to cover. Unfortunately, I'm stuck by myself again today. So I need you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I need you. Not the telemarketer that's trying to call me right now. But again, I'm going to put it out there and I'll put it in the comments. I'm not afraid of it. My cell number is 618-530-7875. Text me. Would you like to be a guest on the show? We talk about life. Matter of fact, somebody asked me yesterday, well, what do you talk about on your podcast? We talk about life and we talk about Jesus. There is no script. It's just a couple people in here and we're just talking. And really, I need you because sometimes people get tired of listening to me talk. So I need you so they can hear your testimony and share how God works in your life. Now, before we hop right to it, there's so much. Here's what I neglected to do, so let me make up for it. Thursday, we have the show, every Thursday, and I forgot. Terrible me. To wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. So now I come at you, moms. How was your Mother's Day? Did you have a nice Mother's Day? A nice Mother's Day weekend? That should be 365 days a year, am I right? Yeah, trust is right. So, before we start into some content, I got some shout outs to do. Shouting all the way out to Florida in the villages. George, I love you. Happy birthday. For some of you that know, George is my stepdad, where I'm blessed to have two dads in my life. Now, my dad had passed away here a couple years ago, but of course when he was alive, the blessings to have two dads in your life. 3, you got the man above, right? Right? So George, I love you. I hope you have an amazing birthday. Also, 365 days a year. So, you guys know I talk baseball a lot, so let me talk a little baseball if you don't mind. Great, you're not sitting in front of me to tell me no. You're not commenting to tell me no. So let me jump into the Mother's Day tournament weekend we had in Branson, Missouri. I know this is going to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm also going to tell you it's a proud daddy weekend, okay? One of the unfortunate things, though, is that my wife stayed home for the weekend on Mother's Day to take care of the other kids. So this was just a trip of Blake and myself and his ball team in Branson, Missouri. But how amazing did he have a turnout? Now, before I celebrate what an amazing weekend we had, sometimes it could be that moment you say, hey, you can go from hero to zero real fast. Last night, talk about last night's stats before we go into the weekend. Blake was pitching and he struggled. So, baseball, it's tough. But the Branson weekend, man, I'm just going to shine a light on that real fast. Blake pitched a no-hitter in the first game. Woo-woo! And then going into the next day, he got to hit a home run. I'm lying. He hit 2. Folks, let me just cut to the chase. He hit 4 home runs, no hitter. Team Extreme 13U took second place. What a magnificent weekend, other than the fact that we didn't get to spend time with Mom on Mother's Day. So there's some baseball chit chatter for you, but I don't want to end it there. I don't have a pick. I'll bring a pick next week. But one of the coolest moments for me, and folks, now we're getting back into the show of You're Beautiful. Now we're getting Dwayne and Kathy. I hope you're listening because last week when you were here and you shared that beautiful testimony, Dwayne, I remember you were kind of asking questions. Well, how do you know you're making a difference? And I love the fact that you are out there applying and trying to be a difference in other people's lives and in the community. But one of the things that we talked about, let's not worry about the stats. Let's not worry about the engagement, where it's easier said than done, because in the flesh life, we're all guilty. And again, I use my humility and my accountability first and foremost when I tell you guys, I've said it before. It doesn't have to be a holiday, but very randomly, I will just reach out to random individuals and send a text of encouragement, of inspiration. Now, when I get a text back like, Trust, you have no idea how bad I needed that. And I've told you before, he gets all the glory, but I'm being honest with you, there's some gratification about that. So Dwayne, I know exactly what you're speaking of, and the next time we meet, I'll show you text messages that I get. The reality is this, that the guest that I was going to have on the show today, it's kind of what she was sharing with me. She was saying, hey, I just believe in putting positive energy out there and positive energy flowing back. I had a conversation with a dad last night from the baseball tournament, and he was saying the very same thing. So, Squirrel, you'll know who I'm talking about, as well as me, my squirrel moments. So let's get back to the very last thing that happened at the end of the baseball tournament. So, when you get first place and you get second place, the organization, which happened to be GMB, they like to come out, hand trophies, runner-up, first place. They give out an MVP award. My son was blessed to get that MVP award. But really what resonated with me on this is the teams were taking pictures at home plate. After our team was done, the other team was doing it. And I'm going to say Grandma. Grandma Brenda, okay? She had kind of attracted my son to come to the fence. And this was really, really cool. I'm not sure what was said, but there was an exchangement. And I didn't ask my son. He was on this high-fiving people. And we got back to the car, and then I said, Blake, you had a conversation with a lady. What was shaking? And he said, well, Dad, she gave me this. And it was a rock. Hey, real fast, y'all, look who just walked in. My boy Jason
Woo!
Harris is in the house. Woo, woo! All right, so getting back real fast, I read the rock. And again, I don't want to butcher this, so I'm just going to tell you she called it a blessed rock. So we'll save that content for next week. But she just wanted to bless my son. He had a great day, and we talked about it before, being on top of the mountains or in the valley. Well, this particular case, he was on the mountaintop, and she just wanted to give him a blessed rock. So we talked about it. Let me speed up, because you guys know I'm rambling. I apologize for it. But I promise you there's a purpose of this message. As we were driving away, ironically, we're the last car to be pulling away, and she's still walking to her car. I stopped the car, got out, and shared how grateful I was that she took a moment to give my son this blessed rock. And we got a little bit of conversation. She goes, Brian, I just want all of God's children to be blessed. Now, mind you, she doesn't know I have a podcast, called You're Beautiful. She doesn't know my walk. But she just started elaborating a little bit more, saying, well, the shortstop on the other team, he's a smaller kid, so he feels like he's against all odds. He feels like, his body size doesn't match up to the rest of the team. Well, I gave him a rock too, because I want all of God's children to be blessed. But here's what's really cool. Happy Mother's Day to Grandma Brenda. We just had a very nice, intimate conversation about one person, Dwayne, here we go again, about one person wanting to make a difference. And you know what I told her, Jason?
What's that?
She is making a difference. If she's taking rocks and she's doing this paint on these rocks, and it had something to do, I remember the baseball stitching on it. Again, I don't want to butcher it, so I'll save it. But Brenda, you are making a difference if you are taking time out of your day to walk up to complete strangers, random acts of kindness. Brenda, I love you. You are making a difference. Now it's baseball, we'll get to more, but right now I got Jason in the house. Woo, woo! So, Jason, I know why you're here, but we'll get to that in a little bit, because eventually we're going to have to get to our first commercial break. But the first thing I want to say, brother, I haven't seen you in a while. I miss you. I love you. And it's great to have your presence in here.
Man, thank you for having me, bro. You know I love you so much, man. I
Spread
love
the
you,
love.
man. Yeah.
How's life been?
Life's been great. I can't complain. I believe that us as believers, us as people are now on the verge of something great. I believe that we're now entering a season of what in the church they would consider breakthrough. I guess the street jargon for it would be like my big break. We hear this saying, when it rains it pours, and generally people said that when they're saying something bad happens. But I honestly believe that for those who have held on, those who have been through the process, dealt with so much, but you yet kept your faith, I believe that it's about to pour for you. So when it rains, it pour. I'm speaking directly with blessings of how it's about to hit people's life, man. So I've now entered into this season, and I believe that every believer and when I mean believer, if you believe what I'm saying, now you're a believer. You're a believer of this message that I'm giving you, prophetically, whatever you want to call it, that you're about to walk into a great season, man, of your life, and you would never visit where you were ever again.
You got me glowing, dude, because that's what we need more. We need more positivity. We already know life in the world is tough out there.
Yeah.
But it goes back, I just drew a blank real fast, but you're speaking Jesus.
Yeah.
You're speaking Jesus over it. Mm-hmm. So, not only whatever season that you may be in, if you rewind this back, you're speaking these blessings upon you, your family, amongst everybody who believes.
Yep.
Okay? So, I know we'll be going to a commercial real fast, but again, this is unscripted. You just walked in the door. Folks, you just saw him walk in the door.
Yeah.
But if you didn't catch last week's episode, something you just spoke, I'll touch base on, then we'll go to a commercial. So I had Dwayne and Kathy Levers in here last week. Mm-hmm. Friends like I know you, but sometimes they were old neighbors. I knew something was going on Facebook, but I didn't know everything because I'm not the guy trying to get that gossip and that tea. Well, he had shared with us that he blew himself up, is the way he put it. On fire, doused fire, trying to save the building, the work, everything. But fast forwarding, the doctors were delivering, hey, you just got burnt, there's the rain, and it doesn't look good, and it's pouring, right? She didn't accept it. Bro, you want to talk about being obedient? She sat right here and did not accept the doctors. She even said on air, well, doctor, maybe you're not a believer because I believe God's going to do better for him. Mm-hmm. She was speaking it.
Wow.
Man, and if you listen to their testimony, if you guys go back to the last week's episode, they said he would be here for X amount of time. He's already back to work, bro.
Wow.
Back to work. And what I'm telling you, and this is where I want to emphasize, when Jason said, if you're a believer and you put your faith in the man above and don't second guess, listen, that takes work. Yeah. That's obedience, because a lot of times we want to use the word coincidence. Folks, it's a relationship.
Yeah.
It takes work. You have to have faith and you have to believe. And last week's episode was truly that, because I had a gentleman, he lifted up his shirt, showed me the burn, and his message was, God put me through that so I could be on the show and tell others about it.
Wow.
That's powerful, isn't it?
That is super powerful, man.
That's testimony.
Yeah.
So, folks, before we go to the commercial, you got to love Mr. Jason Harrison. Not only did he just walk in the door, but he spoke blessings over you. And all he asked is to believe. So, hey, I got so much more for you. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible. Covering auto, home, business, and life insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you. you.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1 million. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
Why you ever chose me has always been a mystery. All my life I've been told I belong at the end of the line with all the other not quite, with all the never get it right. But it turns out they're the ones you were looking for all this time. 'Cause I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody.
We're back. You know, I tell it, whoa, hello, hey, mic check. We got a little bit of feedback going in here. Anyways, I tell you guys, sometimes the conversations that we have on commercial breaks are like, man, they're all I can say is I love my brother.
Yeah.
I love my brother. That's the easiest way to say it right there. So I don't know what's going on with this feedback, but that's okay. You know, being a DJ, you think I'd have all that figured out, but
microphone check 1 2
microphone
1 2.
check. What you didn't know about Jason and I, we're about to throw the lyrics down, and you didn't.
Yeah.
That part of we're done right there. But hey, anyways, guys, I'm so blessed. You know, Jason reached out to me this morning just to have a relationship of brotherhood. Mm-hmm. It sounds gay on live, but I'm telling you, brother, I love you. You fill my cup. So,
yeah, man.
When you reached out today,
the feeling is mutual.
I love that, dude. When you reached out today, we do have some somberness. Let me pull this up. I just want you to, if it's all right, I'm gonna put you on the spot and you take over the mic right here. I know I have it right here, and it's, man.
Yep. My brother, my friend, my cousin, actually my cousin, but more like a brother, Jesse, man. He just, the impact he has made in our community, musically, lyrically, he's put out CDs. He's been across this nation, singing, playing. He has made such an impact into the lives of people. There's not one funeral in the black neighborhood that he wasn't there singing or playing and just uplifting it. You know, we consider that a celebration, and he ushered us into that celebration time. He lifted so many spirits with his playing and singing. I mean, he's a YouTube giant, so you can look him up there, man. You know, national artists were sending in their condolences and posting stuff on Facebook. I don't know if you got to see how many shares and likes, videos. I mean, stuff. He was just a great guy.
Well, I gotta tell you, I already know. Now, I didn't have the pleasure of getting to know him, but you just brought up Facebook, and when you called me this morning, right, I immediately jumped into this conversation, so I could tell what an impact he was in our community. So when you reached out, you were actually calling me for something else.
Yeah.
But how beautiful that we were on this topic, that you can actually come right now on this air and pay tribute.
Oh yeah, man, and I appreciate you having me. I feel like a VIP staff, VIP brother, whatever, man, that I was able to call you and you answered the call and didn't allow me to get on here and talk about my brother. They're going to give him the Miles Davis Award June 7th. So anybody want a shameless plug, but if anybody want to buy a ticket, you can go to the Post Commons. Tickets are $40. And I'm buying tickets just because they're honoring my brother. They recognize that he is a pioneer. I mean, just the impact he has laid into our hearts, man, our homes.
Well, let's do this while it's fresh on my mind. You sent me something earlier.
Yeah.
Why don't we take this airtime right now? We were talking about paying tribute. First of all, what an honor for the Miles Davis Award.
Yes.
But I know you sent me something very heartfelt, and if I could ask you, in honor, if you'd like to read that this time.
Sure. We honor a true musical legend, Jesse Prather Jr., a man whose sound shaped the soul of Alton, St. Louis region, and beyond. From the time he was a child prodigy, Jesse carried a divine gift that moved hearts and lifted spirits. He wasn't just a musician, he was our musician, the musical son of our community. Every church in this region, every wedding, every homegoing celebration, and every special event bears his imprint. His hand graced keys like a master, turning moments into memories. Whether it was a Sunday morning praise, a bride walking down the aisle, or a final farewell, Jesse played with the kind of passion that could only come from above. He didn't just inspire music, he inspired people. Musicians and singers across generations owe their greatness to his example, his mentorship, and his spirit. Jesse Prather's name is etched in the foundations of our churches, our families, and our culture. He gave his life to his gift, and in doing so, he gave us a sound that will never fade. Today we celebrate not his music, but his legacy, his heart, and the eternal echo of a life dedicated to greatness. Thank you, Jesse. You are truly a legend.
Brother, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel terrible knowing with this podcast, and I know I'm just little Brian Trust, right? Those are the people that I want to meet. Those are the, when you're talking about funerals with such somber moments, you're just telling me he's just bringing life into the room.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what we call a celebration of life, right?
Yes.
So to take that moment to, I would like to say an interpretation is like, hey, the flesh might not be with us right now, but if we keep this name on the tip of our lips, it's just there.
Yeah.
That's the celebration of life. I got goosebumps.
Man, he played for my mom's celebration, and I was just with him last month at another celebration at the church, and we were just talking and laughing. But just what he brought to it, man. So when you're going through, let's just say you're sad and sorrow, your mind and how it lines up with your body, the different chemicals it sends, well, it's proven when you sing that these chemicals, this imbalance, it cannot, the stress cannot cooperate, with this. So the singing and stuff basically suppresses it. It puts it down and moves it. And what Jesse would do when he's singing and playing, he would remove stress from us, man. Remove like burdens, man. It was just so. And then it's like, and then our bodies would sync up with singing and celebration, and you find yourself from at a sad, depressing part to where you now are just uplifted. And I mean, he did that in bars. He did that at other places. He just was a gift that God had given us for a short time of 45 years, man. And, I just feel like he's gone too early, but God knows,
Maybe God needs him right now. So we thank God's grace for giving us those 45 years.
Man,
because
so honored.
Yeah, so when you speak of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm even going to go back to you, Dwayne, sharing your testimony last week. You said, what can I do to make a difference? And really just be obedient and continue to serve. And the way you talk about Jesse, he was just a constant light in everybody's life. And folks, that's amazing, because how many times does our flesh life get in the way?
Yeah.
How many times do we want to put our chest out in road rage? And again, Dwayne, it's fresh in my mind. You said it last week. But instead, and I hate to use this term, but I'm just the analogy, just kill them with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful for you to take. It's spontaneous for you to come on the show and speak of Jesse. And again, there's never anything orthodox about the show, nothing scheduled or planned, but I'm going to put you on the spot because I love you.
Yeah.
And what I'd like you to do is, folks, we're going to take a quick moment. We're going to bow our heads, and I'm going to ask Jason, if you would, to grant strength over the friends and the family that are going through this right now, if we could do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, who is so gracious and merciful to us, we thank you. I'm asking for your strength for the families of not only Jesse this morning, but other ones who have lost their loved ones in our country, in this world. So many are going through depression. They're leaning to alcoholism, drugs, sex, whatever outlet they're trying to find. But we know that the true strength is in you. The true answer is in you. So I ask you that you comfort them, put your arms around them, send them somebody to help uplift their hearts and put a smile on their face, make them feel better, know that they're still loved and they're going to make it through this point. Somebody might be on the verge of committing suicide, but send a word, send somebody there to help them during this time and let them know that they don't have to leave here, that they're valuable and they're loved and we appreciate them. That's all I'm asking you for in this time. I thank you in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Brother, that was beautiful because I know I put you on the spot, but as I was listening to that prayer, you know, yesterday when I was talking to someone, she said, what do you talk about on the show? And I said, life in Jesus. And there's not a single person out there, no matter how good life is, we have our struggles. Mm-hmm. I was just sharing mine with you. Mm-hmm. And I so appreciate that prayer because, you know, those words, I feel like he was talking to me. Yeah. And I almost believe you were the guest on the show. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. Was it you that said, do not let, if I'm not trying to butcher it, do not let this decision become a permanent decision? Didn't you actually have that on your own?
Yeah, I did.
Right? Do you, again, I don't like putting you on the spot, but what was the verbiage of that? Because it was a beautiful quote. Do not allow...
Basically, I was saying don't allow a temporary situation make you a permanent decision. And we would do that because we judged the situation wrong. We judged what we were going through. It's a mild season. It's a mild storm. And you've made a permanent decision because of it just a part that you're supposed to go through. Don't stay there, you know.
And that's what I'm getting at. When you was doing that prayer, I'm going to put that in Street 101. If you're struggling and you're going through something, you said, don't go to drinking. Mm-hmm. You know, the drinking might be a temporary solution at that time, but it's not going to fix the situation. So whether it be gambling, like, man, you know, gambling, sex, or drinking, when we talk about what do we talk about on the show, that's nails right there, dude. Yeah. It is so easy for us flesh life. Guilty. There it is. It's on the show. Mm-hmm. Got it from across the street.
Shameless plug. Go ahead and tell you where you got it from. Tell people.
Unpaid plug. Poor decisions right across the street. But you know, folks, I can't say it enough. Even though I fall short, here's what we're talking about. Here's what we're interpreting. Whatever you got going on, it's not a competition if my problem's minimal and your problem's maximized, okay? At the end of the day, stop paying attention to the competition of minimal and maximum. At the end of the day, focus on the word it's still a problem, right? When you have that problem, please know that 365, 52 weeks, 24/7, you said it earlier, if you believe and you have faith and you confess, and what I mean by confess is talk to our Heavenly Father. Mm-hmm. Tell Him what is going on in your life, no matter how painful, no matter how minimal, no matter how maximum. Just take an intimate moment and have that conversation first and foremost. Because that's what they mean. If you put God first, right, we're going to slow the roll, we're going to trust the process, we're going to be obedient. When we skip that step, where do we find ourselves? Mm-hmm. Going directly to sin. And folks, what I mean by sin, I get it, it's flesh life. You want to go get a drink, you want to go hook up, you want to do this, and that's the fun stuff in the flesh life. But you're only thinking in that short moment. Trust the process. Yeah. Be obedient. I don't know how else to put this. Like I said, folks, I struggle learning the word. I'm just trying to bring it to you Trust Street 101 style. Let's just keep a simple understanding about what's going on. And here's the message. Create a relationship with Jesus. Excuse me. Know that any given moment of the day and in your life, he's ready to be spoken to. Mm-hmm. It just requires work. Just like in our relationships, right?
Yeah.
Man, we can go on and on forever, but the show's about Jesus, not marriage counseling, gambling, Alcohol's Anonymous. Folks, we all have issues. All I'm asking you, repetitively, if you had a relationship and you feel like it failed you, whether it be church hurt, whatever it may be, man, reach out. Because in this flesh life world today, how often are we seeing marriages 30, 40 years? Mm-hmm. You know, like back in the day, right?
Yeah.
We don't see it, folks, because in this flesh life today, there's too much temptation, and it's too easy to throw in the towel and get started over. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say, ego, man. We all were created to serve, and what happens is one might stop serving us, and we lose sight of that we were created to serve. So now it becomes about us. Why aren't we being served? Why aren't we being served? Well, I'm not getting what I need. It's like, but are you giving what you need? What do you stopping? Is that going to create that person to give more? It's like we almost think like, if I punish them or if I do this, then it's gonna cause their behavior to do that. And anybody that's married know dang well that's a doggone lie. Marriage is hard. Marriage, other than salvation itself, is the first covenant that God made, and it's the hardest thing that the devil attacks, because it's two people saying that now they're gonna be one, so they unify, and the devil hates unity.
Absolutely.
And imagine when a husband and wife actually become unified. And man, they're going after stuff. There's nothing that can stop them. Nothing, because the husband looks at it this way, the wife sees it this way, and if you look at each other and say, I'm not your enemy, you're not my enemy, and you're honestly saying, all right, we got different views, but how do we protect each other with these views? How do we protect our kingdom, which is your family? How do we acquire more? How do we do this? How do we are a blessing? And that you guys are the balance to each other. And I'm married, and I know that it doesn't quite work like that all the time for me either.
That's why they say men are from Venus and women are from Mars. I don't know that exact interpretation.
Yeah.
But what I want to take out of this, with Jason's prayer and my Street 101 interpretation, ladies and gentlemen, it requires work.
Yeah.
AKA obedience. When Jason first came on the show, he talked about that we're in a season of blessings. Mm-hmm. You could help me better on this, the word, but when you speak the name of Jesus, when you wake up, let's just go back to Street 101. If you wake up and you already say, I'm going to have a bad day, well, you're speaking of that bad day. So all those chemical imbalances that you were speaking of, folks, if you want a bad day, just keep talking about it, because you're going to have a bad day.
Yeah, you're going to track it. You're going to see it. You know what I'm saying? Your body is trained to look for what you're speaking. If you know a season is coming, if I say right now, hey Brian, it's supposed to be pouring down rain when we walk out of here, and there's 2 umbrellas over here, you see me grab one and you choose not to grab it, and you get wet, then you just wasn't prepared.
I made the choice.
Yeah, you chose not to do it. It's like, if I'm telling you that we're embarking upon now a season of blessings, this is the time. The Bible says those who are right remain right. Those who are wrong, you go ahead and remain wrong then. It's like, because this is the preparation. Like, and some of you be like, oh man, how you saying we're going into this and this person be prepared now? Or like, I'm just coming now into this at the last minute. There was a parable in the Bible where Jesus went and picked somebody. He started at early in the morning. Then he came and got another one afternoon, came on and get one in the evening, and then he got one, they said, at 11 o'clock. And this is how the parable goes. And so then the person who he got at, let's just say, 1 o'clock in the morning, they were upset and saying, how are you paying him the same thing that I got at 1 o'clock? He said, did you not agree upon your pay? at 1 o'clock? Did I not give you what I said I was going to give you? He said, well, yeah. He said, but how he get this at 11 o'clock? And so what this parable that Jesus is saying is, it don't matter when you get in, just get in.
Get in, yeah.
It don't matter if Brian started his journey 4 years ago and you started yours the moment you just started listening to this podcast. If we're going into a season of blessings, you can get the same kind of blessings that Brian got and he started 4 years ago, or I got and I started a year ago. You know, it doesn't matter. Just believe you got to get in. Jump in.
Be blessed.
Yeah, I'm like, why? If I said, Brian, hey, the guy said as soon as we get upstairs, man, they giving $1 million out. And you choose to sit down. Look, he's already gone. Gone. Woo! If you choose to sit here and not get it, then that's on you. If you just had to go, you had to believe and move on it.
Believe. I like it when you
believe
keep
and
saying
act on it.
Listen, man, every time he comes in here, he pumps me up. So let's stay on this positive stuff. I got 2 more things I want to throw out there. Folks, look at this shirt. When Trust walks around, it is a walking billboard, okay?
Cloud 9.
So I want to throw a shout out real fast. Adam and Kate Jones, you were on the Daily Show with CJ introducing your Cloud 9 vision. That vision of, it sounds like a commercial. I promise you it's not. I know I'm going somewhere with this. But they had this vision, and really that big vision was to continue to keep kids off the streets. So we were losing our Boys and Girls Club. We were losing some of the YMCAs. They're still out there, and I love them. But whether it be financial funding or what have you, this one family. So when I say one person can make a difference, there's a reason why I'm wearing this shirt. Adam and Kate, I want to tell you this. When I was at the school yesterday for whatever event they had going on, you know how cool it was to see Cloud 9 shirts going around? Do you know how cool it was to be a part of something that you started from the ground up? So I'm letting you know, you guys are making a difference. Don't stop. And here's one other thing I want to shout out to. Recognition-wise, I hope, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I went on Facebook yesterday. I'm just going to put it out there so it's not a surprise anymore. Stacy, my business partner, if you're listening, your daughter, Jalen, she broke I wrote down a 36-year high school record in the high jump. CJ helped me out. We were able to put a clip on this. Let's take a quick peek.
Come on, Jalen. Come on. Up and over, up and over. Yeah!
So, ladies and gentlemen, what you just watched right there,
that awesome.
Record was for 36 years. Back in 1989, she jumped 1.6 meters. I didn't know what that means, so I had to translate it. 5.2 feet. She did it. High school record. So, Roxana, if you are listening to me, please give credit where credit is due. The high school banner, some recognition. And I'm going to tell you right now, Stacy, because I love you, I love your kids. I don't know how far I'm going to get with it, but yes, I reached out to the Jackie Joyner Kirsty Foundation, and I know she's busy. I know it's a huge foundation, but I'm going to keep trying. So I just had to give a shout out before we went to commercial because your positivity speaks volumes. So if you have anxiety and you're depressed, whatever you may be going through, as we go to this commercial, watch the commercials and meditate. Know that you have a Heavenly Father that just wants you to have joy and happiness. I'm going to commercial. I'll be right back.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1,000,000. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
Turn this up. You guys know I miss my MJ. I'm still trying to figure out all these technical difficulties and all that good stuff. But let's see if this works real fast. Can I do this? Oh, I got to get past this commercial here real fast. So hey folks, really fast, here's what we're doing. We are paying tribute.
Jesse right there.
Okay. Dude, tell me right now I don't want to just put my hands up in there. Fuck, you're talking about just... so when you're in church fellowship, what the prayer group, the music before is...
Praise and worship.
Praise and... Woo, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So you're on YouTube, and this wasn't just our backyard community. Jesse was bi-state.
That's
bigger than bi-state.
That's international Kiki Wyatt, you know, like...
Dude, I wasn't even paying attention. It's right there on the screen.
That's a huge R&B artist that everyone knows, you know, and there he is playing and singing, you know, like this is what he does, like, and it's like the impact. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame in St. Louis as a musical icon, a giant, the imprint he has made. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking a lot about his music, but he was so much more than that. And his untimely death, to me, untimely, but his passing through, because that's all we're doing. We're passing through here, going back home. Just made me so much more conscious and just check on friends, on family. Because we never know when we're going to leave here. We never know the day or hour. We don't know the time. And it just makes me grateful for our relationship, but it also makes me want to check in on more. And, you know, how are we treating our bodies mentally, spiritually, emotionally? You know, Kyle, who's been on this show, he has been my accountability partner of, hey man, stop trying to act macho and be vulnerable. You know, and so being vulnerable is hard sometimes because you're open, you're exposed, but I've been more vulnerable with that. I've been intentional about my spiritual health. I've been intentional about, you know, emotional health. My wife and I have talked more in the last month and a half than we probably have in our entire 19 years of marriage, in the sense of I never know when I'm going to leave here. I never know when so I'm trying to be more vulnerable with, hey, that hurt me, or hey, you know, but not in like a accusing where, the meaning where, and it's just, but we have to have open communication, because it's time to heal, because unhealed people pass trauma to children, and then they pass it on to your grandchildren, and so just because
it becomes a hereditary thing.
Yeah, because you would never take the time and heal. And so we have so many broken people that's walking around now, so many broken spirits, so many broken hearts, and your healing is attached to me. My healing is attached to you. So when you deprive me of that text, or deprive me of this podcast, you deprive me of that conversation, you deprive me of my healing, and vice versa. So if I came on here and I just talked about Jesse without talking about, there's healing for you through me, and there's healing for me through you, and we have to start healing each other. We have to start addressing trauma. We have to start addressing problems. And this is not me going into all the whole thing with Jesse, you know, because I want to keep it on the top spot of how great impact he made. But there's some also realistic things that we need to address, and that is, you know, how are we taking care of ourselves and making sure we're intentional. My children now, they he said they hate me. That's a strong word. They're disliking the new routines we have in our house, which is every morning at 7:20, everyone's downstairs and we pray. Beautiful. No matter, and people they're praying and going back to sleep. You know, but we're praying in the evening. We're praying. I told them, I said, you know, we're meal prepping at the house now. Like, hey, ordered out to eat all stuff. Hey, we're gonna cook. I'm like, so I had everybody today make a list, things you want to see. But we're prepping this, and it's going to meal preps, and grab your meal out of there. You know, we're gonna walk. We're just been intentional, man. I'm sorry.
Listen, you're just making me think. I was gonna throw a shout out there. If anybody wants one of those like real live TV shows, Living with the Harrisons, dude.
Yeah.
Because listen, everything that you're speaking, I'm just gonna speak for myself. I want that in my household.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Again, this is why I love you on the podcast. You keep using that word intentional. Mm-hmm. Man, I use that in coaching baseball. I use intentional. Exactly what you're saying. Here, folks, while I'm listening to Jason talk, I don't know if the camera was picking up, but I'm trying to hold my hands behind my back, and these are like fingernails at the edge just trying to touch each other. Trust is getting large, yo. This is real talk, dude. You're talking. I'm like, man, I can't even finger lock back here, you know? So I love it, dude, because a lot of us here at the end of the day we take life for granted. Period.
Yeah,
okay?
We do.
I'll get started tomorrow. Well, what if there isn't?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So I love the fact that you are preaching and practicing where I might speak it and I just have to do better.
Yeah. We have to. It's like, if I didn't text you and tell you today that I love you, you know, and something happened tomorrow, then I'm at regret, or you're at regret, like, man, I just had to I just wanted to tell that brother I love him. Or, you know, like, and I think more about this so much with my family now, like of how and my nieces stand with us, and we got so many other children from this side of school. Bless it, whatever, sort of, kind of. But everybody now know when you come to Harrison House, we're intentional. We're praying, we're exercising. You know, we're talking about business. We're doing, but I just want to be intentional, because I'm like, time is so short, and I've already wasted. Be 42 years.
You didn't waste it. It molded you to who you are today.
Thank you. And so it's like, now I want to make this impact. I want to give more. And don't get me wrong, it's resistance, because I had to tell my oldest two today, my niece and my daughter, which both, you know, my niece is more like my daughter. But told them today, I said, hey, this not gonna work unless y'all help y'all work it. You know, getting up with an attitude, going back to the room, shutting the door with an attitude. I'm like, I'm no longer respond. You know what I'm saying? I might getting upset. I waited till everybody left, called me. Hey, it's not gonna work unless we work it. Same thing with my wife. You know, this was a new change for her too. You know, I'm like trying to rub her, hey baby, trying to get up. You know, it's like, Hey,
he calling you out, Caleb?
It's only gonna work if we work it. Like the change is only gonna come if we change it.
But I like it because you're doing it in numbers, which you might have a weak moment one day, and then the kids will be held accountable to help you or the wife. Yeah. So that's pretty powerful if you put together a plan.
Yeah.
You know, when you're exercising, like you said, not everybody might be happy about it, but I think they always say if you do something for 21 days, it's not work, it becomes habit, it becomes routine.
Yep.
So I admire the Harrison household for doing so.
I admire the Trust family.
We're going to do like a house swap, you know?
Hey, no, the way you taking people in, man, the way you doing that, it's like, no, people don't do that no more. People are selfish. Well, I'm going to be truthfully honest with you. Families are now in survival mode. So it's like, I'm not bringing nobody else to help out. Like, and I've heard people say that, and it's like, okay, I respect your viewpoint on that. Like, I can't say nothing about that, you know.
Well, you know, with that being said, because I have a lot of that going on at the house, I believe in Jesus. I'm not ashamed to tell you that. I love Jesus. Okay? Yeah. But the two guests that want to be on the show, one of them like, can I be on the show? I don't know how to pronounce this. One of them said, whacking. Let me look it up while we're chatting, okay? Right. But anyways, the point that I'm getting across is what they told me is they still love to come on the show. And what they were focusing on was what I said earlier. They're like, okay, so my religion is paganism and Wycon.
Okay.
And I don't know what that
paganism,
is. But
I get what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But it was that karma deal. Hey, what you put out there, you know, that you get back tenfold. And at the end of the day, when I speak of Jesus, I know Jesus. I don't know that. Mm-hmm. But I know that if you're a kind individual, that you're just wanting to love on others, if you only have one shirt on you and this person has no shirt, that you're willing to do something about it, that's love. Yeah. And that's how I feel God is. God is love. So even though I don't know the interpretations of these...
Yeah, watch some Netflix, man, kingdom movies and stuff like that. Like, it talks about pagan gods and different things. Like, so you had... I love watching shows like that.
Yes, I don't even know that. Guys, I'm telling you, I have a Jesus podcast, and I don't know some of this terminology.
Well, you wouldn't know it. I mean, you could... The Bible has quite a bit of it, but you'll learn more from off Netflix that's watching the movies and... Yeah, it's a lot of different kingdom movies, man. Like, I love watching that killing type stuff, but it just gives you about pagan gods and people worship different things. Some people worship the sun god. Some people, worship rain. Some people, and the reality is, I'm like, find God where you want to find Him. And if you think that it's paganism, okay, but it's really not. It's the creation of God. And you might not be at a point in your life where you want to admit that, because generally what I find out, man, people have been so hurt and so wounded from putting their hope and faith in God. And sometimes it'd be a loss of a loved one. I know a friend lost his mother, and ever since then stopped believing. Like, she was going to church, she was doing it, and he let her die of cancer. And it's like, man, he's like, what do you say to that other than, man, we live in a horrible world, and just like we don't want to give any responsibilities to the drug and food administrations and all this different world stuff that's going on. It's like, so when anything bad happens, we want to put it all on God, and why don't you protect us, and why are kids dying, and it's like, man, I get it. That's just the kind of world we live in, but where I find God is after turmoil has happened, after all these terrible events have taken place, how do I still have hope? How do I still have a love for my children? How do people even want to who would want to even have a kid in a world like this? Why would you even want to give birth to the child to come into something like this? But there's something beyond that. Whether you want to admit it, whether you want to say it, that's if a person is married, you dang sure got to believe it's something greater than the struggle, what y'all go through, the pain you go through. You got to feel like, man, this is something. It's had to be something greater. Even to be able to love somebody else that ain't yourself, you got to find God.
I know we're running out of time. No.
Sorry, man.
No. I never want to cut you short, but I keep telling you, I love it when you're on the show. Because I hope they're listening, because I'm listening. And you were just talking about, why would you want to bring a kid into this world when life is so tough? And as soon as you said that, it's because he has a plan.
Yep.
If that child is birthed, okay, he has a plan.
Yes.
And a purpose. It's we who have a choice, okay, on what we want to do with that blessing. What if that, man, I was just watching The Resident earlier, and I know I'm short on time, but the guy was paralyzed in a chair, and they went to zero gravity. He knew life was ending, but he just wanted, like, you know, a bucket list, get on the zero gravity. Well, in that process, he's joking with his doctor like he's having a heart attack. I'm just joking, but somebody else was. Zero gravity, he was able to float around and help in the situation. So no matter how you're born, defect, what have you, there is a plan and a purpose, and all you have to do, this is where I love the show, all you gotta do is believe.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It's us, our flesh life, who push away from the blessings when they're right in front of us.
Yep.
And you guys know I'm dorky dad. You guys know I drink. You know that I fall short. But I am telling you, on this live show, there is a man who loves you regardless, his grace.
Yep.
And with the sadness of you sharing that testimony of your friend who lost his mom, the passing of Jesse, God has a plan.
Yeah.
That 45-year short was a 45-year blessing for all those who encountered him. And now they got another voice, another angel up there.
Yes, sir.
Amen?
Yeah, man. Amen.
Man, I get wild, guys. Whoa!
Yeah.
So, Jason, we got a few minutes left.
Yes.
And Jason does reach out and text me, the Brotherhood Accountability. Eric Wynn, I missed your call right after the show. I'm calling you. I hope that today's show, no matter the bitterness, guilty, right here, no matter the bitterness, at the end of the show, reach out. Mom, dad, neighbor, friend of the past, whatever it may be, because what I learned from Jason's testimony, what if? We talked about the regret, what's worse about the choice. Remember I talked about the regret when he separated the water and he didn't take his hand. Remember we talked about that? So folks, who cares if they're charging you some phone bill charges? That peace of mind, I'm just asking at the end of the show, simply reach out. Loved one, someone you care about, just someone you're thinking about, and the text could be simply simple as this. Hey, I don't need anything. I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you.
Yeah, and can I go a step further with that?
You got it.
And then we get 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Don't reach out to those don't only reach out to those you have a good relationship with. Reach out to those whose relationship might be broken. So if you have a broken relationship with a family member, a spouse, an old friend, a coworker, anybody, life is too short. You might not feel you're in the wrong, and you might not be in the wrong, but it's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm sorry. I looked at it different, or I perceived that you were saying this to me. Could you give me an explanation? Hey, I just want to let you know I'm not your enemy. Hey, I want to let you know I'm your biggest fan. Hey, I want to let you know that I love you. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you.
I'd rather have you in my life than not.
Yeah. You know, and stuff like this, go get flowers, go get a gift, go if you're a coworker like a Pepsi soda, go buy a fountain, shout out to Hit and Run, go get a humdinger or something
Random
like that.
act of kindness, and it doesn't have to be a birthday, it doesn't have to be a holiday.
Please don't let it be a holiday. Do it today. Just go do it.
Folks, I'm telling you right now, the show is unscripted. We truly, sincerely hope that something was taken out of this message today.
Yeah.
God is love. So
yes, he is.
please, just love on one another, and that will help this cruel world be so much friendlier? Something?
Yeah.
All right, love on one another. Hey, the name of the show on 3, 2, 1.